We just talked about monopolies and how they can use their market power to set a price above marginal cost. Compared to perfect competition, a market with a monopoly has a lower equilibrium quantity sold and a higher equilibrium price. But is this what happens in the real world? Yes. And there's an example that probably every high school in the US has encountered. Almost every one of you at some point has to read two books: The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. They're both classic books. And like any hard copy book, they're made of paper. From the publisher's perspective, the marginal cost of producing a copy of The Great Gatsby should be about the same as producing a copy of Huck Finn. But go to Amazon.com and you'll see that The Great Gatsby has a list price of $16. Meanwhile, Huck Finn only costs $4. And if you have a Kindle, you can get it for a grand total of $0. What gives? This is monopoly power in action. You see, if you write a book, then under US law, you have a copyright over that book. You can sue to stop other people from making copies of your book and sharing or selling them. The reason we have this law is to encourage people to write great books. If every time you wrote a book, people could just get a copy for free, then you wouldn't make any money off it. So how does this explain Huck Finn going for $4 and The Great Gatsby going for $16? Copyright protection only lasts for a certain amount of time. Under federal law, if you write a book, you have a copyright over it for the rest of your life, and your heirs keep the copyright for another 70 years after that. Mark Twain died in 1910, which is now over 100 years ago. But The Great Gatsby is still under copyright until 2019. Since Huck Finn no longer has any copyright protection, anyone can make a copy of it and sell it to you. That's why the paperback version costs only a few bucks, which is very likely close to marginal cost. And that's why the Kindle version is totally free. After all, the marginal cost of sending you an e-copy of a book is $0. By contrast, the publisher that prints Great Gatsby still has a copyright and therefore a monopoly. Therefore, if you want to buy a copy of Gatsby, you have to buy it from that publisher. The publisher uses its power to keep the price high, and that's why The Great Gatsby costs $16. Now, why doesn't the publisher charge $100 then for The Great Gatsby? After all, no one else can publish it. The answer is that the demand for The Great Gatsby is still somewhat elastic. If a publisher charged that much money, your teacher might stop assigning it. Bottom line, monopoly power is a real thing, and you can see that by going to the nearest bookstore.